Whew! Man, this thing drinks some gas like nobody's business. I think it's partly because it's a manual, and partly because I drive like an idiot. Because look at this, folks. Let's check out what am I getting in this thing so far. Whoops, clutch in. Let's look at the gas mileage. Haha. 9.8 miles per gallon. Yeah, I think it's my driving. All right, well, let's get started with this video. I'm gonna find somewhere to park, and we're gonna talk about the craziness behind all the Demon 170 orders and how I believe there's some real shady stuff taking place. And I just think it's important that we have the talk about it, get it up online.
Put it out there on the line, and they share it with their friends. So
that the conversation is started, and maybe some of the stuff gets exposed. All right, real quick, before we get started, I just want to tell you, I discovered something. I discovered on YouTube that there is a section in my YouTube studio where when I look at the comments, I can click and look at held for review comments. I guess I knew this, but I guess I just never thought to go look there. And thank goodness there were only about 10 or 15 that were being held for review, so I don't know how long they sit there. But woo, there's some angry people out there. There's some mad people out there. I assume they're dealers because most of the comments are just ragging me out. One of them ragged me out for beating up on Dodge, yet I constantly buy Dodges. Since when have I beat up on Dodge about their cars? I love their cars. I gave them crap about the stickers. I stand by that. I didn't buy this thing because it's special edition. I bought it because it has checks every box of what I want in a car. And I've made that very clear. I even said when they rolled this one out that this one I would buy as long as I didn't have to pay a markup. I complained, and I've been complaining, and I've been exposing the controversy around the markups. And my issue with the special editions were that if they stick stickers on the cars and then the dealers take that as an opportunity to call it a special edition, which it is, and raise the price by $15,000, $20,000, and the car I'm sitting in right now, I'm finding out they're stickered with a markup at $100,000. That's kind of crappy. I mean, you create a situation where scarcity is manufactured by virtue of stickers and some wheels, and that means you charge $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 more for the car, in some cases $100,000 more. That's a problem. I believe the Super B is a pretty special car, and I believe the Demon 170 is a special car because there's actual differences with those cars. They're not just stickers. They're actual, like, physical things done to those cars that make them very special. But I still stand by the fact that if the car is not numbered, it's not a low production, it's not super, super special, it's not going to go up in value. So I beat up on Dodge about all that stuff. So yes, there are some hostile comments, which just reinforced that I'm doing the right thing, that I am sharing the truth with you all, and at the very least, I'm helping drive good behaviors when it comes to paying too much for cars. And I cannot begin to count the amount of messages I've gotten from all of you out there telling me the deals you're getting on cars right now. At MSRP, less than MSRP, the comments say it as well. We are making progress, and frankly, you're winning because of the information I'm sharing with you. The dialogues, the strategies, these are things that are working. Some of you have written me and said, had I not seen your video, I would have paid the $15,000 over. I held out for 3 weeks, and they eliminated the markup completely. Another guy in the held for review, and by the way, if they're held for review, it's because there's bad words. There's foul language, very offensive language in those, and yes, there's some really nasty comments, and that's why they're held for review. Otherwise, they get posted. And rarely will I delete them, but once in a while, if I'm just sick of hearing from you because you're just spewing crap, then I may just take you off there because it's giving me, it's just irritating me, and I don't want to read it anymore, and I want to be the guy that actually reads his comments and talks to people. For the most part, I'm not going to. But if you put a link in your post and you think that it's going to be there and then it disappears, it never gets posted, and then you yell at me for deleting your post, just know YouTube won't allow you to post with links anymore. That happened in the last couple of months. So it's not me deleting your posts. And if you want to have a conversation that's professional and respectful, go ahead and make the comments. But boy, folks, the dealers are getting mad. The next thing somebody said, I'm doing this for the views. Well, yeah. Why else would I do these? I'm doing them for the views. Now, I'm not going to compromise myself, lie, cheat, steal, malign. I'm not going to do things that are illegal and unethical. Like, I'm just going to share with you information that I have. And if that gets views, great. But my channel's small. And frankly, I've been doing this now for, what, 4, 5 years now? So if just now suddenly I'm doing it for the views, listen, yeah, views are good because that means I'm reaching more of you. And I'm able to help save you money. So dealers, I'm sorry you're so upset. I'm sorry you're so mad. Some of the comments were, wow, you know, what am I supposed to just not work? One guy wrote, God, if I can find it, I'll put it here. What am I supposed to just not work? You're a hypocrite or something. You go to work too. I don't go to work and screw people. You go to work and then lie to people to get them to pay too much for cars. That's my problem. If the market drove these, watch my market forces video. If the market drove the prices up, that's cool. That's not what's happening. Everything's being held hostage from us, and you're sitting on cars for 3 or 4 months to get big prices. So now let's talk about the Demon 170. What happened there? So I got this message from a gentleman yesterday, and I thought, what a perfect thing to share with you all. And I've hesitated talking about this, even though we knew it was happening after the last few videos and my trip to one of the dealerships where the salesman said, oh no, that car was not an ordered car for a customer. We ordered cars in fictitious names or people's names who work here, I guess, who weren't really buying the car just so we can speed up the car getting built.
You been up 30? No, I just popped in to see that thing. It looked like somebody had it ordered. Yes, so we place an order. Some of these are just they're not real orders, but in order for us to prioritize, we put a customer name on them. Okay, yeah.
And get the car to show up. Well, if there's a situation where that likely has been happening more than any, that would be the Demon 170. So my suspicion, based on this message I got from this gentleman, is that when Tim Kaniskis got up and said, well, the first 1,000 orders that came in, there were 600 or so of them that were done at MSRP. And he also addressed that while, yes, there's some dealers that are likely charging for, you know, a car cover or wheel locks or doing something nefarious to make up that markup to say that they got it for MSRP, well, that would be the customer colluding with the dealership, which is true, and that's a problem. If you colluded with the dealership to get your car built faster, then you're just as guilty as the dealership. That means that, well, the customers were doing just as much bad as the dealers were. Now, I will hold the dealers more responsible because they're holding hostage of the product, and you have no other way to get it other than doing what they tell you have to do, but you still sign an affidavit saying that you got it at MSRP when you know that you had to buy a minivan or that you had to buy wheel locks for $50,000 and still gave them that extra money. So let me read this to you real quick, and I won't share his name because I don't know if he wants me to, but he says, Happy Labor Day. Hey, I wanted to talk with you a little about the dealer markups. A lot of the Demon 170s were ordered at MSRP by the dealerships. Some of the dealerships put one of their salesmen or an employee in order to order the car at MSRP and get it built first. But some of us, they had us order the car at MSRP, and then they're charging us $50,000 to buy wheel locks, or I've heard of some people had to buy another vehicle like a minivan or a truck and then put the markup on that so that the car could be ordered at MSRP. What I'm suggesting is we should start a movement with Dodge protesting that if you ordered at MSRP and you signed all the paperwork and had the document notarized and fingerprints taken, which I believe is a federal document, Dodge should force those dealerships to sell the car at MSRP. Also, the first 170s made are at MSRP, and that's not fair. And a lot of people that paid $25,000 or $50,000 over MSRP and their car got made or may not get made because of the strike, it puts them at the back of the line. So what I'm saying is a lot of these dealerships lied on the notarized document. Dealers told Dodge that their buyer was buying it at MSRP, and then they're paying $50,000 or $100,000 to buy wheel locks, or they had to buy another car. Is there any way that we can contact Dodge, their legal team, and if you sign the notarized document saying MSRP, it would force them to sell the car at MSRP. And here's what I wrote him back. So sadly, Dodge won't do anything about it, can't do anything about it. Dodge is well aware of the games the dealers play, but they will not declare war on their franchise dealerships since the franchise laws make them beholden to each other. Dodge set the rules for MSRP on 170s to get built first, and like everything, a lot of these shady dealers found slimy ways around it with $50,000 wheel locks, car covers, etc., or making them buy another car with a huge markup, or just so they're not lying on the notarized document. The dealers were slick in how they did it so that there's nothing anyone can do about it. Even the buyers who went along with it are complicit, which weakens their cases too. It's a mess. So that is what I believe. There was probably a lot of that happening. So when there's a belief that there's thousands of these, or 1,000 of these, or 600 even, of the 170s got sold at MSRP, I think we're all smart enough to figure out that these dealers figured out a way around that affidavit. So yes, they got the car at MSRP, but they did not let them buy it unless they bought another car right there, or agreed to buy wheel locks for, $50,000 or $100,000. Now, do I believe there were Demon 170s sold at MSRP? Absolutely there were. Because there were some dealerships, and I've heard this directly from buyers and directly from some of those dealerships who said, we sold our 170s at MSRP because the owners of the dealership philosophically believed that's what that was the intention of Dodge when they built that thing, was to send it to the dealership and be sold at MSRP. They're old school. They believe in long-term relationships and establishing those long-term relationships with customers for many years to come, and that's what they did. They sold out in a minute and people got theirs for MSRP, but I think those were heavily exceptions to the rule. Of course, you know that Racer X got his at MSRP. I know there's a few other YouTubers got theirs at MSRP. So there are some special circumstances where people were able to get them, leveraging relationships or their positions online, etc. And that's okay. I understand that happens. That is what it is. With that said, and whatever you got to do to get that thing at MSRP fairly, so be it. With that said, to charge somebody for a $50,000 for wheel locks, or even worse, what I think is just really crappy, to have put a bunch of orders in. Let's say a dealer got 10 170 orders, and they put all those in rather than contract them to actual buyers. Let's say they did maybe 5 of them, but the other 5, they couldn't wait. Remember, the the clock was ticking to get those 170 orders in. They had until the end of, April or something like that, if I'm wrong, whatever month it was. They had to get them in, and that was it. May, maybe it was. But anyways, they had to get those orders in, and then order banks were closed. So the dealers had no choice but to either drop the prices to get those cars ordered at MSRP to get them even in queue to get built, or they had to take the chance of losing their allocation completely. So if they couldn't find a buyer who would agree to a huge markup, and they couldn't get them to agree to buy a minivan or $50,000 or $100,000 in wheel locks and car covers, then they had to put somebody else's name in that dealership, I suspect, on that contract and say that they were buyers and put that order in, so that at the very least the dealer would get the standing inventory. So what I think is going to happen, those of you who have been asking me about Demon 170s, do you think I can get one? My initial reaction was no, all the orders went in, and since they were all special order cars, you're not going to get one. I think there's a good chance, if you're willing to pay, that there's going to be a lot of these things you're going to find sitting on dealership floors that say specially ordered for Mike Roch.
Yeah, hello, is Mike there? Last name, Roch.
Hold on, I'll check. Mike Roch! Mike Roch! Hey, has anybody seen Mike Roch?
And that car is going to be marked way up and for sale, and you're going to say, whoa, what happened to Mike? What happened to Mike Roch? And Mike backed out? No, Mike sits in the back over there and is one of the salespeople, and he put his name down, or it's one of the relatives of the dealership employees or something, and they were able to get these cars ordered and delivered, and now they're up for sale with huge markups. Same thing happened back when the 2018 Demon came out, we found all kinds of standing inventory with massive markups on them sitting on dealership showroom floors. Well, I think we're going to find that the same thing's going to happen. But things are different right now because interest rates are to the moon. Banks are not lending like they used to. And I don't know how many people are going to be able to shell out that $100,000 that I think will be the minimum these dealers are asking when these things show up on the dealership floor. With that said, follow the strategies I've been sharing. And if you really want one and you find one on a dealership floor and you've got the money, go in there and at least try to negotiate with them. Try to get that car for less money. And while I don't believe in markups, if you get out of that thing for $25,000 or $50,000, what we learned from the first Demon, original Demon in 2018, that car will at the very least hold its value and you won't lose your money. If you pay much more than about 50 over, I think you're risking losing your money based on the prices that the 2018 Demons are going for right now. You might be able to break even. If you pay much more than that, you might be in trouble. I'm not condoning markups. I'm just saying go in, know what you're willing to pay, stand firm, stay strong, take no prisoners when it comes to negotiating. That means walk out if you can't get the deal that you're comfortable making. And there may be a second bite at the apple with these Demon 170s as we see them start getting delivered. Now, of course, the UAW strike is looming in about a week. We will know what's going to happen there, and that could change everything for everybody, and who knows, and we'll be doing videos on that if that happens. So with that, everybody, that's the story. Sticking to it. I thought I'd share this, at the very least, to expose some of the behaviors out there and to share that maybe there's an opportunity for some 170s coming to lots that will be sitting there for a while where you might be able to at least negotiate a better deal. Maybe not the greatest deal, but negotiate something. Because I don't think they're all reserved for actual buyers. And that there are some, and there definitely are some, heard from this guy, some really shady tactics taking place to get those cars built faster. And that they weren't really an MSRP. They were $50,000 for wheel locks. So with that, everybody, please like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you in the next one.